Alrighty. Back in effect. Um, it's Friday. I'm ready to swing. Oh, yeah. Better speak on that now. Alright, yeah, I better hold that for big. Alright. So we back in action, man. This Aaliyah extravaganza. And peace to the family of Aaliyah, man. I don't want to be. I hope this is not triggering or. Let me say it again. Peace to the family of Aaliyah. I don't. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers. I know this is a sensitive topic, man. But it's a lesson to be learned in all of this. I think at this point, due to the current state of affairs, a lot of people will be or should. I personally, I don't know. Like I said, I can only speculate. Based off a certain vibe I get, I guess you could say, from the universe. And little things I see on, but I'll be out of the loop on a lot of shit. It's just like, especially as of late, because, I keep my ear to the street, but at the same time, lately I've been more, we'll say, withdrawn from social media to a certain degree. Not totally, because this shit just a part of everyday life now. But just like Michael Watts, shout out to Michael Watts one more time, man. I was telling y'all in the last video, I'm not an ambulance chaser, so it's like I ain't okay. Michael Watts, let me see what I can, but pull something down and see what I can talk about with him. But before I go there, let me say, but I was using an example to show you guys, because I'm from Houston, so find out he died 2 or 3 days after, it's kind of like crazy for me. But it goes to show how withdrawn I've been to a certain degree. But I will say this much about old Mike. For one, despite the fact I am I will say staunch, that I am staunch in my slow down music shit. If ever I was staunch at anything, it'd be that. Like I said, it's a few cats that I listen to outside of school, but I had to go out of my way to even get, to even go and listen to something that I consider close enough to Screw to hear in commission of hearing how certain things would sound slowed down and chopped today. But the thing about it is, me, it has to be at least close to how Screw did it to some degree, because the reason why one of the reasons why it's more than just I'm from the South Side and we the screwed up clique side of things or whatever. When I mean, we the talking about the whole side of town in general. But it's deeper than that. It's the actual talent. It's like if, and that's not to knock Michael Watts. He did what he was supposed to do as well. But it's not necessarily to knock them. It's just like everybody got their own preference. If I go to one burger stand and I eat a burger there, And I feel like it's one of the best burgers I've never tasted in my life. And then I go to another burger stand. I'll be like, okay, this one's alright, but it's not better than this one. Then which one do you think I'm gonna, just based on my perfect preference? You might feel like that's a bit of well, you say it's a barbecue stand or hamburger stand or whatever. And that's your preference. I'm not going, of course we all have there's nothing wrong with a little debate, just like niggas debate over sports, as long as it's within a healthy context. It ain't, niggas' egos don't get too involved with it, because people do that. I've seen people who feel like, I'll give you a perfect example, niggas in jail. I don't know about everywhere else, but I know, like I hear one of the things was, it wasn't so much so when I was down there, because shit had kind of lightened up a little bit, at least, and I know at least the unit I was on was pretty much a laid back unit, so I can't really speak on the units which we consider rock and roll units, when they say rock and roll unit, that's where it's really going down, that stabbing, fighting, all that shit like that. Wasn't necessarily, like you had, of course, you don't have that. You had, like I said, when I first got to Give Lewis unit, when I first got there, a riot had popped out, but it was within it was the essays. They had something going on. It wasn't a race riot. It was like something going on within them or whatever. And I think somebody had got stabbed or something. But outside of that, it wasn't too much. And then the next time it got kind of hectic, it was more of I think it was the essays versus the COs or some shit. Yeah, I remember seeing one of the sergeants. He was one of the relatively cool sergeants, or who we consider cool sergeants, whatever. But I seen him with the he was coming down the the walk. What was that? The run. His eye was swollen and shit. And I'm like, damn, he one of the cool ones. That's fucked up. But something happened where they had to try to contain some shit or whatever. And if, heaven forbid, a person has to go down there, but if you, because I know it's the opposite, honestly. Niggas be like, some niggas take pride in that shit. Don't wanna go, you don't want to go to where it's rocking and rolling. Just put it like that. You would rather go somewhere where if you're doing your time anyway. That's enough. You don't want to have to, if you can go somewhere and do your time without having to worry about a motherfucker, or too much worried about motherfuckers. Because you see me, I almost ended up in a ride behind some bullshit. I put the jacket on the damn door. The goddamn lady come through, right both of us up, instead of taking it down and say, hey, whose jacket is this, so they can get the case or whatever, which is the proper way of doing it. So she could have very well been trying to start some shit, because she was a little nasty lady. The lady who done it, I ain't gonna say her name, but that little shriveled up bitch was no good. But she could have very well been doing that on purpose to cause strife, whatever. Because what had happened was they was thinking that he went down there, because like I said, he went down there first, and they was thinking that when he caught, like I said, when certain group like them, they group, I guess when somebody catch a case within, because they was I forgot the name of the gang that he was in or whatever. But with they should, I guess, if somebody catch a case or one of them catch a case, then they gotta, I guess, report it to the whoever they head is or they group or whatever, and they or maybe he just told somebody that and was like, oh man, I got a case for my celly or woo, and then they got all riled up in the whole while, thinking maybe he was thinking I just was gonna let him take the case, but like, nah, I had caught the case too. But like I say, we got to the bottom of the shit, and they were like, okay, we see what happened there or whatever. And that's why I would tell you the first nigga. That's why I say that Mike. That's how I know Mike is. That's one of the connections I have with Mike with Michael Jackson, the man, but then the Mike name too. And it's not to say everybody named Mike is special or some shit. We don't want to get into that, but but like I say, this kinfolk Mike, he was always one of them niggas that if he had it and I needed it, all I had to do was say, hey, bro, you know, he used to want me to come down there. I had my own shit going on down here as a teen and shit. But he used to always be like, man, come up here with me, man. I'm a pretty much had it kind of laid out. He was like, man, I was like, nah, but I already got my own shit. When I'm gonna leave, abandon my own shit I done built up for, and then come up here. I ain't talking, I don't want you to start thinking like I'm Tony Montana or some shit. I'm just talking about my little grass operation I had. You know, he was doing his thing, but not just, you know, we ain't gonna make him like he was, gonna say like he was doing his thing, you know, on a level over me, but it was more so about, but you know, it wasn't like he was the fucking kingpin and all shit. So I don't want to put you under the wrong impression. Just like this shit here, I be winning this shit. And I remember when I started winning, when I saw my old man, my brother gave it to my old man, but he wore it a little bit, but you know, he ain't really in the jury like that. But so I saw him not wearing it. I said, well, let me grab that. And then I saw the little, I guess these are cubics, because like I say, my brother's not no fucking baller or shit like that, so I don't, I know these diamonds ain't necessarily real. I don't know how to tell real diamonds from fake diamonds, but just based off of the context of it all. I just say that word a lot. The context of it all. Don't run up on me thinking you'll be like that nigga trying to stick me up. You'll be like that nigga, that gay nigga on Baby Boy. $40 if that. Shit. So, all niggas think of that shit. But you know, you got niggas that do that. That's why I don't like how it's covering my boy out like this. So me put it like this right there, man. But it's funny because my kinfolk, him and my uncle, they both got that thing with some, I don't know what like, my uncle was already had, like his eye was like kind of like, I guess it's probably some Haughton type shit with the family. I got a medical thing, I don't know, like, and that's another story. But yeah, my uncle, his eye kind of like, he got that droop, his eye started like, my uncle kind of, I know the older he got, his eye started, his father, his eye kind of like started drooping or something like that or whatever. And my cousin was like that at first, but then I noticed his last few years, his eye started doing that too. So that's interesting how that happened. But what else? Who else? Shout out to my nigga Lil Mike from the hood. He passed. When was that? When was that? 2021, 2022. My little bro, man. I wish I got a picture. I put my pictures on my wall. But that little nigga had love for a nigga, man. I remember when I came home from jail, that was one of the cats that really saluted a nigga. I think was like, boy, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but there's so many words he was trying to convey. Like, man, you was that nigga, bro. I can tell he kind of like, I guess looked up to me, because he was a little younger than me. I can tell he kind of admired me, because we never hung out too much growing up. But I knew him from school and seen him around, but he was a little younger than me. But we never really just hung out until like, when I came home from jail. And even then, it was him, well, first off, I seen him, but you know, nigga had a mean put on game too. Him and his, I remember I seen him in the club one night around when I first started going out after I got out. And I thought that little nigga, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, this nigga, he did like a rapper or some shit. But he did rap too though, but I thought them niggas had got a deal or something. That nigga was out there, He had, oh, you know, I had little jewels on this shit, dress fly, and glasses. I said, well, Mike, I didn't do it. I see him. That nigga looked like, if you just see him walking through the malls, you probably thought that nigga was a superstar or some shit. I thought the nigga got a record deal or something. But, yeah, man, Lil Mike, man, that nigga there, man, he used to always show a nigga mad love, bro. And as a matter of fact, I went and got some, show you how show you the mic connection. When I did the Michael 2019, when I did the Mike tribute, on one of the videos I was speaking about Mike and which go back to the animal thing too. Why Mike kept Bubbles around. Same thing I was talking about with the cat and the spiritual nature of animals or whatever. But and he was conscious too. That part I didn't know till like just I think we had a few conversations because I used to go get my hair cut at. He stayed in no apartment. When my partner used to cut my hair, would stay there or whatever. So that's how we ended up doing a lot of linking up too. And then I ended up moving down the street from him a couple years after that. I used to go get grass from him and his people and shit. So I did the mic thing, and I think it was the last video I did in the sea, but I did the video I did right before I went to go get the grass from the nigga. I think I was talking about the bubbles or whatever. And just so happened when I went over there to go fuck with him to get the grass he had was some shit called Gorilla Glue. And that's how I knew some spiritual shit. And a conscious conversation sparked when we was the commissioner doing all that. We started talking about what was we talking about? Native American and shit, how we were the natives of this country. It was something, but shout out to Mike, man. So and it kind of reminded me of my homie Greg that passed. Cause right before Greg passed, it was like he was going through some shit. You know, they had nowhere to stay and shit, and you know, just going through it. And then he ended up passing away, making the transition. And it was the same thing with Mike. I went and got some. The last time I fucked with him, I went and got some weed from him and shit. He lived in a room, had a little crack in there he was trying to sell and shit, which was a crazy. Well, that little area right there. I can see some. Cause I don't know what the hell niggas sell crack at. All those motherfuckers still even if that shit is even. I know it's all probably always been little pockets in there, but compared to how it was when I was growing up, you would think that shit don't even exist no more. So when I seen it, I was like, damn. But you know, he trying to get his shit together or whatever. The next thing you know, I hear the nigga something happen. So shout out to my nigga Mike, man. That nigga always shout out to nigga Lord boy was like, cause I used to have a Lincoln Town car when I was in school, courtesy of Pops. So when I got out, I never got the slab. I wanted the slab out my Lincoln, but I never got a chance to. It had caught on fire and shit before right before I got locked up. Shout out to Pat though. And I ended up getting a square body Lincoln, a square body. Still got that in the storage and shit, but you know, Pops kept that in the storage and shit when the nigga got locked up. He always been a Lincoln man too, so you know, it kind of, you know, even though he never did, but he used to always be like, every time he used to come see me when I'm in jail, I'm gonna have it fixed up for you when you get home. I'm gonna have it fixed up for you. And wasn't the case, but I ain't tripping. But I end up seeing the same. When I finally got me a good paying gig, I went and got me one used, so he had his flaws and shit. I really wouldn't. Come to think of it now, I don't like this. Let me clean my screen off because it's looking like it's throwing me off. Excuse me, but I got the same model, same color or whatever. And he remembered me from having one when I was in school and shit. So when I came through to get my haircut one day and I pulled up in it and he seen me and that boy said, "Signature Sam." He said, "That's your," because that's how I know. I love that nigga. He said, "That's Signature Sam." He said, "That's your signature style." Some shit like that nigga said. Which goes to show that, because I'm a little nigga. I wasn't the only nigga with a car in school or whatever, but far as, let me think if I don't want to lie. For my young, like I got different, like I said, I got my niggas from that I came up the porch with as far as the streets, and then I got my beach net niggas, which beach net, that's where ancient Egypt out of the world. I seen some about the beacon nut. That's but that's a whole nother story. I ain't often go down a whole nother rabbit hole, but like within my form niggas, I was pretty much the youngest. Then everybody was pretty much older than me. Then when I moved to Coral Gables, I'm a partner with them older than me too, but I had more. That's when I guess what I'm trying to say. All the young niggas from my clique over there, the beach in the Coral Gables side, I was like the first nigga that had a car. As far as the young cats, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, that's the safe way to say it. So anyway, I remember that nigga saying that, and I was like, man, nigga, he pay attention. I mean, shout out to my nigga Lil Mike, man. So yeah, but as I was saying, that's when I saw that nigga Mike when I was locked up. When word got back that they was finna try to set it off. The first thing because everybody, once the word got over there, all the niggas started tying their shoes up but he was the first nigga I saw or the most memorable, because every time I think about that moment, the first thing every time I think about that, the first thing I remember is seeing that nigga with that shirt. I was looking at me like, "You ready, bro?" Or you like showing nigga like, "You ain't finna let that happen to you like that." I seen it in his eye, like, so shout out to that, but I don't know where he at to this day, man, but it's, and all them niggas, man, because even though that's really a rule in the, that's the, I couldn't think that when niggas supposed to do that, but it's like, yeah, because that's the thing, one race try to jump another nigga, like, a nigga getting jumped by another race, you supposed to ride, everybody's supposed to ride. That's just penitentiary rules or whatever. But I still, all the niggas, even though they popped up, I still salute all the niggas that was willing to get out there, man. But yeah, I just wanted to speak on that again before we get back into Baby Girl, man. Now, I want to go back to this movie. I was to one of the Baby Girl interviews, and she was saying how she was talking about the movie, how the movie was based off of, I think, a novel written by Anne Rice, which goes back to what I was telling y'all about the ritualistic type shit that they did with it with this movie. To take it back to Bobby, he brought up Anne Rice. He was speaking about it. He was like, man, I think he had read her book or something. He was talking about this shit. He was like, man, that bitch ain't no joke. But he wasn't saying like, she was like, that's a dangerous bitch, to be honest, or whatever. So, when I heard her say about the Anne Rice thing, I saw, yeah, they definitely was on some shit with her. And like I said, just a portrait. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I'm gonna give you just to dial it back a little bit, not be so serious about it. Which it is serious, but to take it back to like, okay, we had a little kid say, "Oh, I want to be a vampire for Halloween." Whatever, we understand the playfulness of it all. But I'm gonna show you now. I didn't like the fact that they portrayed her as some type of blood. So they basically put her in the same category as them. And I'm not talking about all white folks. Like I say, this is higher up people that do this shit. But they kind of put her theatrically in that box, and I just knowing who. Then, like I say, you look at the name. Like I say, the real vampire shit or the real Dracula shit is like I said, her name was Akasha. Akash means black, darkness. So blackness does absorb, but we absorb the spiritual blood, which is the blood of the sun, the light. Not necessarily even, that's why Osiris had to come and speak against cannibal teach out. Those who fell to the level of cannibalism to whatever reason, due to whatever reasons, the knowledge of us not having to do that had to come back around and say, hey man, you don't have to do that's not, that ain't the move or whatever. So, when she spoke about the Anne Rice thing, that even set up another red flag. I said, oh yeah. Bobby told me that's a dangerous bitch. But see, I'm gonna show you something. So you won't just think we just sitting here victim being. No, we ain't gonna play the victim. They fucked over, but we gonna show you what the redemption is. See, now you have to look at this movie. Now Aaliyah's not the only one. We could just say Aaliyah or Black Girl Magic. I say Black Girl Magic. Y'all, all the girls that's into they shit know. So baby girl is baby girl, but you got many different baby girls, or whatnot, or many different variations. But she was the reason that put on that world stage for us to see her as that, despite what may have happened to her later on down the line. That actor's name, it was she had to get on that world stage to be a manifestation as well as a example to follow to a certain degree, because she was a real pristine, because her name Aliyah means the Most High Exalted. So her energy, and they took that to accountability too. So when they dealing with people, that's why I said, she did Romeo Must Die, which that name is, that's you some bullshit. That's like trying to kill the horse energy, or whatever, which is bullshit. I took issue with that, even though, but the movie got out right though, because Jackie Chan, he would be the Romeo figure in the movie. He succeeded in the movie, but sometimes it's not about, and this is, cause I saw something yesterday that made me want to say this too. I saw a picture of Dolph Lundgren and my boy Carl Weathers, peace to Carl Weathers. I saw that picture of them two together. I think it was at the shoot of Rocky. Because, I talk shit about the whole scene of Apollo and shit or whatever. But, I don't know what Dolph Lundgren's into. Like I say, which is the reason why I'm saying is I don't want to, I say that could cause, you might look at them and say, oh, fuck him. Just like Bobby was telling a story about Danny Glover. He said, baby, see, because the subconscious mind, when we watch the movie, the conscious mind is what, consciously that this is just a movie, but your subconscious mind, that's why you have to be real aware of your knowledge of your mind. because the subconscious mind, the Akasha mind, can't tell the difference. So, if you don't have a type, well, put it like this. I always show you the picture of Horus and Set with Horus. That's why I just say, Satan, get behind me. You keep everything. You keep the Horus or the light in the front as the guiding, and the Set in the back. Once you start moving with this part in the front or forward, which is, I'm going to give you an example of that. Danny Glover, The Color Purple. Now, I'm not a fan of them. I never saw it. I probably did. I guess I probably did when I was a kid. You know, too young to remember, but it's not something my mama, that's my mama and them, age range and shit. So it was a big thing for them. And of course, I was a kid, so I know I probably sat and watched it with them. You know, come on, boy, and sit down some old shit. But I couldn't too much. All I know was, Harpo, you beat me, or some shit. Other than that, I never really had a desire to go watch that movie either. I think that's for a reason. Because once I got to the conscious realm of things, I never really heard any good things about it. So I paired that with the fact that I never really, like I said, go back to what I was saying about gospel music. And we'll get into some Bible shit with that. But, write that down real quick. It's reminiscent, it's so reminiscent of what we trying to come away from, which is that slave mentality. I think that's how I see Color Purple. It's post-slavery, but it's that stench of us being ignorant as fuck. Based off of what we went through in slavery. So a lot of the shit I hear going on in the movie, I be like, I don't know. But anyway, that's just like Bobby was saying about what's this fool name? And it's funny to show you how she be lining up. When I first got out, what's the boy name? Skip Lewis Gates or some shit. Some nigga. Anyway, when I first came home, some shit was happening with him. I can't remember what it was, but it was some shit going on. And a little bit after that, I started listening to Bobby, and he started, if I'm not mistaken, he started talking about this documentary that Skip Gates had something to do with or whatever, right? And maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to, but maybe I'm getting it mixed up. But anyway, the documentary, I might be wrong about Skip being attached to that shit, but he did some other shit that was fucked up. But I remember Bobby saying, but I think it was some of this documentary. And he said, Bobby was like, the documentary, he said when it came out, it was like, talking about the black struggle and all that. And he said people wouldn't take into it. They didn't like it or whatever. And Bobby said when he watched it, he was like, he said, I see why people ain't liking this shit. He said, because they keep, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was describing, what he described was parallel to how I feel about gospel music. But what he was saying was, he said they kept, and that's a science, he said every time they showed, because they was talking about slavery and all that shit, he said every time they showed niggas, or it flipped to the nigga side thing, because he was talking about the Confederate, or this part, he was talking about the Confederates and the slavery or whatever. And he was like, every time they was talking about the black people, you hear that, you know that sound, that old somber music. And he said every time they would speak about the Confederates, it'd be that brave, bold sound and shit. So that somber music was to keep niggas in a state of slave mentality or whatever. So, and that's how we feel out here gospel, because it's like the origin of gospels is the what's the damn Negro spiritual? I don't know. But anyway, so to take it back to that's why I said about Color Purple. I think that movie, the reason why I never really was into that movie or consciously reluctant, because you can come in there, even when it just came back out a few years ago, I'm good. But I think that's why I know. But the movie, whatever, I guess Danny Glover was a bad actor, or he was a bad guy in that movie. But he must have played the role so well because he played the role well because he played it so well that Bobby says some lady saw him and walked up to him and slapped him based off of what he did in the movie. But that's because in her subconscious mind, that's the subconscious mind, because the motherfucker was in the right state of mind is not going to walk up to somebody and slap them because they know it's a fucking movie. But for whatever reason, her shit flipped around or whatever the fuck happened, and she slapped the man. So, that's why these movies, and I can't necessarily, some should be obvious, but that's why that's one of the dangerous parts of entertainment, going into the entertainment business, because these people are like 4 or 5 steps ahead of us as far as knowledge and shit. So when we like take you back prior to all of them. Once upon a time, we used to look at that as like, oh, she made it. Oh, she's on the big screen now. And the whole while we not knowing, we looking at that as a sign of success. But the whole while we not knowing, they have a whole nother agenda with this shit. So we looking at it like coming out of poverty or just trying to, by us being a poverty-stricken race here in America, getting that little piece of the American pie, when we championed that because we thought we was moving on up, you know what I'm saying? But the whole while, some people I get slipped through the cracks. And, you know, it wasn't totally bad. I mean, the entertainment industry does serve a purpose, because everything, even when they do shit that they think is against us, it's like Bobby said, the spirit realm, I be having them do shit too so they'll be doing some shit thinking they hurting us, and it might have a negative effect at that time, but somewhere down the line it'll backfire on them. So which goes back to what I was saying about this. The last thing I heard about Anne Rice, if I'm not mistaken, is she was into the occult and all this type of information, and then eventually ended up back as a regular Christian lady. So you might be like, how do you do that? Well, I'll show you. First and foremost, Leah might have something to do with that shit, because you playing with that energy. She's the real deal when it comes to that shit. Mine is the bad. That's what I'm saying. They put her as that was a part of the ritual to subconsciously make you view your subconscious as the bad guy, because you got the bad guy or the antagonist whose name is Akasha, which in real life is the antagonist of them. And we're not just talking about all white folks. We're just saying the ones that know what's going on, that's what they fear. They fear that. So that on one hand could cause you to subconsciously go against the subconscious mind itself, just by, what's another example? That's what I'll tell y'all about why I kind of like, now people do what they want to, I understand. A nigga go take a stand and tell somebody that, oh, you ratted, okay, whatever. But even that word, and it's thrown around so much now. I think that's one of the reasons why the channel came for me to kind of like, even if I do have to, even if we all having a conversation, they'd be like, yeah, well, that nigga told, I'd be like, well, he told, or that nigga, you know, whatever. And I'm so beyond, I'm a street nigga for life, but I can't be around here. I can't, by me being who I am, I have to have a little bit more understanding than the average person. So I can't necessarily ostracize somebody. You know, I won't do no crime with a motherfucker that told on some shit. But by me being Christ, I can't ostracize motherfuckers like that, or treat somebody the way that the average street nigga would treat them for whatever they did. And I'm not talking about nobody in particular, but I'm just thinking, because I'm talking about the rap thing. But Raw T, and I see the rat is the pineal gland. The pineal gland, Ra is the sun, T is the physical body, the cross. And I'm, you know, I get maybe I'm just being a little bit extreme with it, but it's just like the word thought. When thought is a real thing called the Thought women in India, and then you had thought, which is thought to Hootie, the god of wisdom. But then somebody reintroduced the word into the black lexicon 2014, 2015, something like that. Reintroduced the word into the lexicon and put a negative stigma to it. A thought, oh, it's some trifling woman, you know, ghetto hoochie book, hood book, or type shit or whatever. So I'm seeing, mind you, I know by this time I'm aware of thought, at least I know about thought to Hootie, but I didn't find it a little bit after, because when people start, I said, hold up, this is bullshit right here. They gonna have people like, when you gonna, that negative stigma on the word can be an attempt to cause you to go against what that word represents, which is wisdom, or whatever, knowledge, wisdom, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of was telling niggas, you know, this is Facebook days. I'm like, man, y'all need to stop saying it like it's something wrong. And then later on down the line, I found out in India, you have some shit called the Thought It's like the Thuggies. You get thug, like it's just some negative shit, but no, we are the Thuggies. That is the thing, the Thuggies. That's another Indian shit. Or Indian shit. When I say India, I mean India. You know, not the Native Americans, two different things. To bring all that back to the Akasha, or the Akashic Records, or the Akash, and they do use your own mind against you, or that's one of the, they don't have magic. So the only magic they can use, you're the magic. So they only magic they can really work on you is using black people who know magic to do some shit or whatever, but you got some sell out niggas like that too. Or using yourself against you, or using your own mind against you. So programming you that what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. Just to put it in a nutshell. So that's the ritual of the movie. Because like I said, I can show you the mythology in it, where they got the mythology from. They said they got it from Anne Rice, one of Anne Rice's novels or some shit, but then I can show you where she got the shit to write the novel from. But you fucking with that energy, despite whatever happens to her. It's like Dark Horse. You say you wanna play with magic? Well, I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Yeah. So I don't know what's wrong with these people, man. Because that's just like I'm thinking about this shit. It takes me back to the Knicks. I was the Nixon, and they're talking about the search for the Black Messiah. I'm like, what do you what was this dude thinking? Did he know what the Messiah is? Because I'm like, if you knew what the Black Messiah was, what you expect to get when you find him? Besides a nicely packaged ass whipping. Because that's what the Messiah came back to do. Whip ass, not die. That's why I'm like, these people think they can actually go against the spirit realm. Or, we was sleeping shit for a while, but once you start talking about the Messiah, and not just me, the race period, but I'm the ultimate manifestation of it. When the Messiah come back, you get your ass kicked. It's not you killing niggas. You like Pac, Aaliyah, Big, Pun. That's all Messiah energy. But it's almost like, the best way I can put it is almost like they didn't realize necessarily who they were to the degree they needed to. And it's just like in the movie when they say the major, you don't know you're the one, you're not the one. So if you don't, that's why I give you the example with Pac. Once Pac said the 5%ers came in jail trying to tell him he was a guard, and he didn't rock with it. Once the pseudo powers that be heard him say that, they were like, oh, this nigga don't, he don't know. No disrespect to my nigga Pac, but we just gotta be real with this shit. And this nigga don't know. And then you start talking about the Illuminati, which is more shit I guess he learned, just like I learned in prison. And just except I understood the nigga was, yeah, they're right. But the girls, that's why I became a 5%. But, and then he was like, they was talking about the Illuminati, which he was right about that shit, but he put we putting the K on that shit to kill it, but not but Illuminati just means the light. This is some shit. Because he said all the shit in the last interview. The nigga said, he said, man, my name is Machiavelli, not Machiavelli. He said, I took that because it's probably some shit they took from us, because these motherfuckers been stealing from us. He said, it's probably a nigga who had it, but they didn't let him, or he said probably some nigga shit, but they didn't let the nigga record it and took it. So he's like, I'm taking this shit back. And he was right. Well, I don't know about the Machiavelli shit in particular, but generally speaking, that's what the fuck was happening. So he knew something, but then when he was speaking about the Illuminati, his temperament was more so about, he was more so trying, he was like trying to say, because I guess the niggas in jail were trying to tell him, hey man, the Illuminati looking at you, or they whoop, whoop. But he was like, man, who told it? And he was like, he didn't understand how. He was like, well, who told the nigga in jail that the Pope? Did the Pope tell him? Or he was like, man, get the fuck out. He dismissed it in so many words. And it was like, no, but the nigga was trying to tell you was, you're on the right path. And those are the people they be looking the fuck off. Nobody has to. When you get into the information and know this shit, nobody has to get word directly from the Rothschild or whoever the fuck. It's just a general thing. They know, whatever. But he was kind of like scoffing it off. So I was like, so they probably saw that one like, oh, he don't all the way know, so we can do something to him or whatever. Now if he would have came out and like, yeah, if he would have came out full body guard, full blown guard body, then they probably he already was on some shit. Now he really knows. Yeah, we might want to wait this one out. So take us back to baby girl. Well, Ann Rice, I wouldn't be surprised if just based off of what happened to Aaliyah, Aaliyah probably hunted her motherfucking ass. And so much so, she was like, let me get away from this shit. I saw it happen. I'm going to give you another example. It was some dude I was watching this documentary. It was some dude who was like a musician. But I can tell he was like into some type of occultism or whatever. I can't I can't remember the name, but I think even his name spoke to that or whatever, whatever. But anyway, he was into some shit because he was fucking with Marilyn Man, or not Marilyn, excuse me, Paul, excuse me, I meant to say Charles Manson. He was fucking with Charlie Manson. He was in it with us high. Some way, and Charles Manson was into the occult and shit. He even knew who niggas was, who black people was. He said it before. But he went out on out to the mountains somewhere with Charles Manson and a few other motherfuckers, and they started doing shrooms and shit or whatever. And he said next thing you know, Charles Manson was trying to kill that nigga. So he said he ended up finding himself hightailing it from them, having to run from Charles Manson and his group. They got the fuck up out of there. Somehow he escaped, and he's back to Christianity. So that experience, whatever the fuck he was going on with him and Charles Manson, it spooked him back into Christianity. And it probably what happened with Anne Rice, except for this time she probably fucked with her works, led to some I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't even know her. If she, I don't even know even if she's still alive or not. So I'm just speculating. Cause I think Bobby said she went back to Christianity or whatever. But I don't know if this was after the Leah died or whatever happened. But if it is, quite possible that Leah terrorized my motherfucking ass, as she should. And you might say, "Oh, that's just niggas talking crap." Like, no, what you think? All we got is all we got, man. We don't have the bombs and the guns and the. So what you think? That's why I be saying I don't want. I know this shit might sound a little, and maybe not, cause I don't know what type of knowledge Aaliyah's family could be into or whatnot. And even her father's name was Michael. So I'm saying this shit is just, see how this shit is all just coming all around. I hope they don't. I think he made a transition a few years ago. So I hope they don't have a issue with me speaking on the name or whatever. But I just felt like it's warranted based off of what happened to old Dollface, man. Damn, man. So yeah, that may very well, because I ain't gonna lie, Sabia's, unless she was lying about going back to Christianity, who knows? Because the motherfucker do that too. She probably, who knows? But so yeah, man, that thing there. Once Anne Rice's name came up, I said, "Oh yeah." And I just, when I saw the movie, I'm looking at it, and I couldn't help but think of R. Kelly, man. When I saw that guy, and that's the thing too. That's the part of the original too. They got the statue of her and her king, but her king is shattered. Her statue was still there. But then they wake up out the statue state, and they got her. I don't even like the movie, so I don't even think her and the white guy was supposed to be love interest in the movie or some shit. And then they got him all fucked up, killing the goddamn women. That's not nigga shit. Dionysus is a ladies' man. He's not the lady killer, not in that fashion, but you know, he's the ladies' man. You see the dude, the shit with the girls around him and all that shit. And all the girls love him or whatever. But then he kills the motherfuckers when they get to him. That's not how the story goes. Dionysus would be what you would call a real male, the male version of a real feminist, not this shit they got today where it's pretty much man hate, but somebody that understands and identifies with the I think a male feminist would be more, what's the word I'm looking for? It says more because you're a woman, then okay, of course you're gonna stand up for women's rights. But to be a man in a world where the sexes are pitted against each other, but to be able to be a man and still empathize with what women, because we both go through shit, and men, the black man and the black woman too, men and women, period. Like I say, because it's black. We speak. I say black man and black woman because that's primarily with me, because our plight is more. We the ones with the truest plight. Humanity, period, has a plight. It's all under the same plight, but it hits us harder. So whatever fucking up white folks is probably fucking us up 10 times more, as opposed to the shit that the government or whatever you want to call it do. The mind control that they wield over society. If they on 10 with it generally, they on 20 with it when it comes to black people in particular. So it says a lot to be able to identify and empathize with the opposite sex, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I am of the Dionysian energy, and that's one of the things I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm the nigga who, hey, we go pick the girls up, bring them back to the house, or they don't want to have sex. Man, make the old walk home. I'm like, no. I mean, yeah, this is good. Cause when we went to one year, we went to see where was that at? And we went to see I think it was Haughton Pokey concert. We had this more cats that you see there too performing. But it was me, my partner, and 2 other chicks. Me, my partner, and these 2 girls. So they took her back to the house. They didn't want to do nothing. So when on the way taking them to the house, they wanted to stop at Burger King. So we stopped at the Burger King. Patty was like, they got out to go eat, but Patty was like, man, scratch out, bro, scratch out. I'm like, I ain't gonna do that. You know, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? They might just give a nigga no ass, but yeah, I ain't finna go out like that, bro. That's the type of shit I'm talking about right there. So, you know, we took him on to the crib or whatever, but that's gallant shit. Chivalry. Chivalry can get you fucked up too. You chivalrous to the wrong people or wrong type of female. But that's a whole nother lecture. That I was thinking about that this morning. It fitted somewhere within all of this. I'll figure it out later. But let me let my vocal box rest for a second, man. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. And then after this, we can kind of go into some of the more less gloom of all this shit. You know, there's something else I want to speak on too. This how you know it was some bullshit too. I'll say this before I go. And you can look this up. But you know that they didn't want to pay for her funeral. Virgin Records was gonna pay for her funeral at first. Well, it was supposed to pay for it, or they was gonna pay for it, and then they reneged because all of a sudden a different the company got took over by another entity or whatever. So, and that entity didn't want to do it. First and foremost, I would think the fucking record label was supposed to, you would think they would have a better means of transportation outside of a goddamn plane that was equivalent to a crop duster. That's what the dude said. He said it was the equivalent. It wasn't necessarily a crop duster. He said it was pretty much the equivalent of a crop duster, though. So, but that's how you know it was some bullshit. In this music, this industry shit, man. You know, we root people on when we see them get these deals, and they keep going to that world, but we don't know what comes with that and what's on the other side of that, because we forget the poverty-stricken conditions that we arise from. Puts us in a state of mind where we're a little eager than maybe we should be to go in pursuit of our, not fishing anything wrong, because even I myself had dreams of being in the music industry and shit or whatever. But I always been like I said, I'm the nigga. Look, this is one of the things I was trying to tell y'all. I'll let y'all go after this when I come back. I'm the nigga. I'm one of, you remember, see this, I didn't grow up reading books and watching lectures and all that shit. Dude, kids shit. All I had to learn, once I learned the history of the world, 7 to 8 years old, maybe before that, 6, 7, first grade, we stopped. You know how they did the Pledge of Allegiance. I was one of the niggas who stayed sitting down because I was conscious of the fuck. I was like, yeah, that flag. Even though I know now it's always shit. All that shit is based off our science. Back to what Pac said, some shit they took from us. But and I was the only one. It's like it was just you had some people standing up, some people sit down, or stayed sitting down and didn't. You know, you start off they program with this shit. I pledge allegiance to the flag. You know, you go through that shit about first, second grade. I think I stopped. I think I always had a problem with that shit. You know, you be getting out with it, and eventually you be like, man, I'm not finna keep standing up with this bullshit because I know this flag is representative of some people who kept their foot on my people's neck. So it was always something there, a distrust for the government, and I always associated the government with authority. So when you go into the music industry, the authoritative element within that, I always attached to them. So I'd probably been a little bit more critical, but who knows? But yeah, man, I'll let y'all sit on that one, and we'll come back. I'll rock out a little bit more. So, peace, man. Baby girl forever, man. It's my heart right